Hey guys, today I'm going to show you how to crochet this one shoulder or off the shoulder sweater. This sweater is super simple, there's no increase or decrease, and we also just use one stitch for the whole sweater. The size of the sweater is also adjustable. I will walk you through what is what throughout the video, and the yarn I use is this one. I got this one from a Chinese website. A single thread looks like this. It looks very like mohair yarn, but it doesn't have mohair in it. It has nylon and acrylic. The recommended hook size is 3mm, but I'm going to be using a 5mm crochet hook. If your yarn is of a different size, meaning is thicker or thinner, you don't need to worry. You can size up 2mm, or you can use the recommended hook size your yarn calls for. But like I said, you don't need to worry because we will be making rectangles for the panels. So if it's just a rectangle, it's very easy to adjust the size, which is the width and the height. So if you're using a different weight yarn, you just need to follow the measurements I give you. Not the stitch number, not the row count, but the measurements of them. So first, we're going to make a slip knot. This is how I make mine, but you can do it your way. Insert your hook and make a chain. So yarn over and pull it through the loop on your hook. Chain 1, yarn over, chain 2, 3, 4, 5. This chain should be wider than half of your bust measurement. So for me, I'm going to chain 65. I know that because I already made one panel. This is my beginning chain from this to this. And keep in mind, this chain is not as stretchy as the stitches, so you want to make it a bit looser than usual. And this panel that I made is about 25 inches, a little bit more than that. So this is 65 chains for me to make 25 inches. This length is going to be the width of the sweater, so you can adjust it to your liking, but it has to be at least half of your bust measurement. How wide you want to make this panel depends on you, and how many chains you should make for it to reach your desired width depends on your yarn weight. So if your yarn is thin, you probably need more chains to reach that measurement. If your yarn is pretty thick, you won't need as many chains. So after 25 inches, which is 65 chains for me, we're going to begin row 1. So remember this chain, we're going to insert in that one soon. But before that, I'm going to chain 1. And then I'm going to insert in this chain. This is now the second chain from the hook. 1, 2. So insert my hook in that chain, yarn over, and pull it through that chain. Now you have 2 chains on your hook. Yarn over and pull through both. Then we're going to insert back in the left vertical loop. Insert like that. Yarn over, pull through only 1 loop. Two loops on your hook, yarn over and pull through all. And then we're going to do that again. 2 vertical loops, insert in the left one, yarn over, and pull through that loop. So just 1 loop. Now again, we have 2 loops on our hook, yarn over and pull through all. Now I'm going to place a stitch marker in that stitch. So I'm just gonna do that. What this is actually a treble crochet. Normally you would chain 3 to substitute for a treble crochet at the beginning of the row, but if you do it this way, the edge looks better. So it'll look like that. This is the edge. This is not really difficult. It's essentially just 3 single crochets stacked up together. Okay, so next we're going to make the normal treble crochet. To make a treble crochet, you're going to yarn over twice. So yarn over once and a second time. You might want to use your finger to hold these 2 loops in case they come off. And then you find the next chain. So that's the one we already worked in. That's the next chain. So you insert in that chain, yarn over, pull it up. Now you should have 4 loops on your hook. We're going to yarn over, pull through the first 2, 1, 2. 3 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through 2 again. Now 2 loops on your hook, yarn over and pull through the last time. So that is a treble crochet. It's taller than a double crochet. Think of a double crochet as 2 single crochets stacked up. Then a treble crochet is 3 single crochets stacked up. So different from a double crochet, we yarn over once. Treble crochet, we yarn over twice. So 1, 2. And then insert in the next chain, which is this one. Yarn over, pull up a loop. And then you're just gonna repeat doing yarn over and pull through 2. So yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, and yarn over, pull through 2 a third time. Okay, let's do it again. Yarn over twice. Insert in the next chain. Pull it up. 4 loops. Yarn over, pull through 2. 3 loops. Yarn over, pull through 2. 2 loops. Yarn over, pull through 2. So you're just going to continue doing this. Make 1 treble crochet in each chain all the way to the end of the chain. Okay, end of the row, this is the last chain. I'm going to do the same. Yarn over twice, and then insert my hook in that chain. Make a treble crochet. Yarn over, pull through 2, pull through 2, and pull through 2. Okay, so that was row 1. Because we're making the first treble crochet differently, whenever we finish a row, we're just going to turn directly without chaining. You can see this is the first stitch. So in the top 2 loops of the stitch, you're going to insert your hook. I don't know if you can see with this yarn, but there are 2 loops here. There's one, there's the second one. So I'm gonna insert like that in both loops. So insert my hook in there in the first stitch, yarn over, pull it up, yarn over, pull through 2. Okay, so that's like the first single crochet. And then in the left vertical loop, we're gonna make a second single crochet. So insert your hook in the left vertical loop only, yarn over, pull it through the left vertical loop, 2 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through 2. So it's like a single crochet. That's the first single crochet, that's the second one. We need to make one more. So again, 2 vertical loops, insert in the left one, yarn over, pull it up, 2 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through 2. Okay, so that's the first treble crochet. Again, I'm going to mark this first stitch. And the reason why we mark the first stitch is because this helps you locate the last stitch you should work into when you come back. So I'm gonna place the marker in this one. This is the right vertical loop, but it's also actually the top 2 loops of the stitch. And then again, this row we're just going to make treble crochets. So in the next stitch, yarn over twice, insert in the next stitch. So this is the stitch from the side. We're going to insert in the top 2 loops. So like that. So insert in there. Yarn over, pull it up, and then pull through 2, pull through 2, and pull through 2 to make a treble crochet. So we're just gonna keep doing the same thing. Yarn over twice to prepare for a treble crochet. Insert in the next stitch. There. Yarn over, pull it up. Yarn over, pull through 2. Yarn over, pull through 2, and yarn over, pull through 2. So continue doing this. Work 1 treble crochet in each stitch in the top 2 loops. Work all the way to the end of the row. I'll see you here. So as you can see, that is the last stitch. I'm gonna go ahead and finish this one. So this stitch is the first stitch of row 1. We marked it so we can know which stitch is the last to work into. So now that we see it's marked, we know this is the last stitch we should work into. So yarn over twice and insert your hook and make the last treble crochet. And then you're gonna turn your work again. Remember, we don't need to chain anything. And from here, you're just gonna repeat row 2. So insert in the very first stitch, in both loops, yarn over, pull it up, yarn over, pull through 2 to make the first single crochet, and then insert in the left vertical loop, make another single crochet in it. So yarn over, pull it up, yarn over, pull through 2, and then do it a third time. Insert in the left vertical loop and make a single crochet. So pull it up, yarn over, pull through 2. Okay, now I can take out this stitch marker in row 1 and place it in the first stitch here of row 3. So I'm going to put it in there in the right vertical loop. And then from here I can just continue making 1 treble crochet in each of the following stitches. So insert in the next stitch, top 2 loops, and treble crochet. And again, when you get back to this end, don't miss the very last stitch, which is marked. If you miss that stitch, your panel is going to be narrower and narrower rather than a rectangle. So from here, you're just going to keep repeating row 2 and work your way up. So as you work more rows back and forth like that, this piece is going to grow that way, and eventually you would have something like this. And for this piece, I have 18 rows. Okay, so this is row 1 and 2. You're going to continue working until you have 18 rows. And I'll see you after you finish row 18. So 18 rows for me is about 18 inches. This is gonna be the height, the length of the sweater. So if you want your sweater to be longer, you can continue repeating row 2 and make it longer that way. But for me, I'm gonna work 18 rows measuring 18 inches, and that is gonna be the height of my sweater. So this is row 18. Be sure not to miss the last stitch, which is marked. Work a treble crochet in it. When you finish that stitch, chain 1 and cut. Pull through. So you're gonna make 2 panels like this. They are exactly the same. The beginning chain, as you can tell, which is not as stretchy, is gonna be the shoulder. So these 2 edges, it's gonna be for the shoulder. And the other side, which is more stretchy, it's gonna be the bottom of the sweater. As to which side you wanna put them together, like this or like this, it's up to you. But know that we're gonna sew up the shoulders from the wrong side. So if you want this side to be the right side, as you can see, the stitches curl this way. If you want this side to be the right side, this will be the wrong side. So that's gonna be my right side, that's the wrong side. So right side facing right side, I'm gonna put them together like this and then sew them up at the shoulders. So you're gonna put the panel against your body like this and see how many stitches you wanna sew up on each side. So for me, I think I'm gonna do 10 stitches on this side and 10 stitches on this side as well. So put the panels together with the right side facing each other. We're doing this from the wrong side. I'm going to make a slip knot first. Find the very first stitch here, insert in the top of the stitch, and then find the first stitch on this panel as well. Here, insert in the top of it, grab the slip knot, pull it through, and chain 1. So that's the first stitch together. Now we move on to the next stitch. Insert in the top of the next stitch as well. There should be a hole that you can go into, like that. By the way, this edge is the foundation chain, that's why we don't have the normal top 2 loops on top of each stitch. On this panel, find the second stitch as well. Insert hook here, yarn over, pull through, and pull the first loop through the second one to make a slip stitch. Okay, so we just joined the second stitch together. Move on to the next stitch, number 3, insert hook, third stitch on this side as well, insert hook, yarn over, pull through, slip stitch. 3, keep going, number 4, 5. I'm gonna do 10 stitches in total. So this is 6, 7, 8, 9, that's number 10. Okay, so I'm gonna stop here. If you've done 10 stitches for this shoulder, 10 stitches for that shoulder, and you still think this neckline is too big, you can keep going even after you fasten off. So for now, I'm gonna stop here. I'm just gonna chain 1 and pull this yarn through, cut the yarn like that. If you don't think this is enough, you can always continue using this tail, going to the next stitch of both panels, and pull yarn through, chain 1, and then you just do the same thing from the next stitch. So next stitch, slip stitch, and continue making slip stitch in each stitch. Okay, so you have your 2 panels like this, right? I haven't done this shoulder, but I just used this stitch marker for now. And this is what you want to see. So where do you want your sleeves to begin? So I'm going to put a stitch marker there. So that's where my stitch marker is. I've got 6 rows on this side and 6 on this side as well. So now I'm going to lay the panels flat. So I'm going to take this out. I already know I need 6 rows here, 6 rows there as well. So make sure we have the right side of the seam facing us. This is the wrong side. That's the right side. So I'm gonna turn this over. So now what I need to do is on these 6 rows and these 6 rows, I'm gonna work treble crochet on this edge from here to here. I'm gonna put my stitch marker back in so you can see. Okay, so 6 rows there, 6 rows there. I'm going to begin from this. Make a slip knot. And the first stitch is going to be worked in there, between row 6 and row 7. So insert your hook, grab this slip knot, pull it through, and chain 1. And then in the same stitch, we're going to make that special first treble crochet. So insert your hook, pull yarn up, yarn over, pull through 2. And then in the left vertical loop, make a second single crochet. We've done this before, so I'm going a bit faster. And then we do it again. Left vertical loop, a third single crochet. Again, you can mark this stitch. And then from here, what we do is make 3 treble crochets for each treble crochet row. So 3 for this row, 3 for this row, and keep going like that. So as you can see, my first one is here in this line. So before I get here, I need to make 2 more treble crochets here. So the first one is always in this line, 1, 2, 3, and then in this line, the first one again, 1, 2, 3, and then 1, 2, 3. So I'm gonna yarn over, prepare for the second treble crochet. So what you do here is just try to insert in that stitch like that. It doesn't have to be any specific loops, so just make sure it's in the stitch and work your treble crochet. And the third one in there. Okay, now we've got 3 treble crochets for one row. For this row, the first treble crochet is going to be in this line. So I'm going to work a treble in there. And then the second one is going to be in this stitch. I always try to insert in 2 loops. And then treble crochet. Keep going, the third one is going to be in that. In there. Going to be in there. Okay, so from here you just continue doing this. Make sure you have 3 stitches for each row, and I'll see you at this seam here. So I've got 3 stitches for each of the 6 rows here, which means I have 18 stitches. Now I'm at this seam here. In the seam, I'm gonna work one more treble crochet. And then I'm gonna do this pattern again from the next row. So 1, 2, 3, and then 1, 2, 3. Okay, so I'm gonna see you here after I finish working stitches on these 6 rows. Okay, so here I've got 3 stitches for this row. 1, 2, 3. But just to make these 2 symmetrical, I'm gonna work one last stitch here in this line. So the stitch count here doesn't really matter, but just in case you want to know, I've got 12 rows. I work 3 stitches for each of them. That gives me 36 stitches, but then I have 1 extra stitches at this seam here, and then 1 more at the end. So I should have 38 stitches. 38 stitches. So if you want to make sure you distributed your stitches evenly, having the correct stitch number, you can do the math. Okay, so this is row 1. After that, we're just gonna use the same method we worked on the panels. So turn your work and then work 1 treble crochet in each stitch. So we're gonna work back and forth like that to make the sleeve longer. Right, so row 2, I'm gonna work a special treble crochet with 3 single crochets stacked up together. And then you can mark this first stitch if you want. Next stitch, again in the top 2 loops, you're gonna work your second treble crochet, and then you're just gonna continue doing that. So exactly like the panel. So I'm going to continue working back and forth like that and make my sleeve longer. I'm going to see you back here when I reach my desired length. Okay, so here I did 20 rows and it measures about 20 inches, and that is 51 centimeters. But remember, this is not the shoulder. Your shoulder would be somewhere here. So the safest way to make sure your sleeve is at a good length is to put your sweater on. So after you finish the rows for the sleeve, here you finish your last stitch, and then you chain one. I cut here for a reason, but you should have this connected to your yarn. So I'm going to reconnect this because we don't need to cut here. We still need to sew up the bottom of the sleeve and also the side of the panels. Okay, so now I connected the yarn. For this part, we're going to do it from the wrong side of the sweater. That's right side of the shoulder seam, and that's the wrong side. So I'm going to turn it over like that, and then sew these two edges together. So remember how we worked 3 stitches for 1 row for the sleeve part? We're going to do the same thing, but instead of working treble crochet, we're going to work slip stitches. So I'm going to work 3 slip stitches for this row. I'm going to insert here 1, 2, 3, and then 3 again for this one, 1, 2, 3. And then keep going like that for both edges, making sure they line up as well. So the first one, I'm just going to insert here 1, and then find the top of this last stitch, which is there. Okay, and then yarn over, pull it up, and then slip stitch. We did the stitch when working on the shoulder seam. And then the next stitch is gonna be here, the second stitch, and then insert again on the other side, and slip stitch. The third stitch for this row, here, and then here, and then slip stitch. For the next row, 3 slip stitches again, and then you're just gonna continue doing this. So 3 slip stitches here, 3 slip stitches here, and then at this corner, you're just gonna turn and continue working 3 slip stitches for every row. And remember to make sure the rows line up. When you finish the last 3 slip stitches here, you're gonna fasten off, which is just chain 1, cut this yarn, and pull it through. We've done this before as well. And when you finish this side, you're going to do the same thing for the other sleeve. After you're done with both sleeves, you're going to fasten off all the yarn tails. So basically, you're just gonna use a yarn needle and weave these in on the wrong side, maybe just in this seam here. So fasten off all the tails, turn it to the right side, and your sweater is done.